Welcome to the good, the bad, and the sequel. This movie podcast where we're talking sequels and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching. And the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they are right, what they are wrong, and how it could have been better. Hope you enjoyed last week's interview with actor Russell Todd, who has the distinction of being the first Jason victim who took the machete. And he also had that same death in an earlier movie. We talked Chopping Mall. We talked about an amazing audition story where he put glue on his leg and it dried. And they were like, what is that? And then I actually found the ad from 1979. Really cool. Russell was awesome. Really cool. Hear about his journey, like as a kid, wanting to be a director. And then somebody's like, hey, you look an actor. And he's like, oh, I didn't think that. I'm like, dude, you're a sharp looking guy. In this movie, first time you see him, he flashes like the dimples and the pearly whites. But very cool. And what's even cooler is it's Friday the 13th. It is our favorite time of year. We now have covered 11 of the 12. 10 of the 11 sequels. I really just want that 13th film to come out, which would be the 12th sequel. But before we talk about any Baguette Jason or some really awesome behind the scenes stuff that I found from watching the Crystal Lake Memories, dude, so many cool things. I got to introduce you to my partner in the sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you?
I'm okay, Doug, but you said 10 of the 11 sequels? So do you mean 10 sequels of the 11 movies?
No, we've covered 10 of the 11 sequels. There's 12 films total.
Yeah,
11 sequels.
But there are 11. So there's, wouldn't that be 10 sequels if there's a total of 11 movies?
No, it's a total of 12 movies.
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
So then which sequel have we not done?
We haven't done 3D. 3D's left, man.
Which one's
Bernie
3D?
Lomax's girlfriend.
It's a third one?
Shelley. Yeah.
So the third one is Jason 3D?
When he gets the mask. Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So that's all we got left. Jamie, do you remember seeing this young? Like this movie came out?
This is like, I would say in my top three, probably top three Fridays. I do like, I think it's a good follow-up. However, watching it again, it's been a while. I definitely have a lot of questions regarding Jason, but my other thing is, and I don't know if this is going to be controversial, but I almost feel like this is the worst Jason, one of the worst Jasons. And the reason I say that is, one, he's way smaller than any of the other Jasons in any of the other movies.
Yeah.
And he sort of plays it like Ghostface. Like, he's very clumsy in this movie. He's also very creative than the other ones.
Hides.
Like
he hides in this one. He hides under a sheet.
Wait a second. First of all, I found in this movie, I think the cameraman is more of a peeper than Jason. The cameraman in this movie, between the shower, between zooming on the butt, the cameraman in this movie is like ridiculous.
Or the one in the bushes. Remember the POV of Jason when Hottie Terry, Kristen Baker, when she throws her shirt into the towel, and it's like, okay.
No, it's ridiculous. Yeah. But this Jason seems so small. Like, but he also is like shutting lights off, and he's doing all these different things. Like, other Jason just killed. Like, he didn't do any planning.
He did cut I think the only thing Jason ever did was cut the power. Maybe he just saw it and broke it. And I feel like all the movies, it's always like, well, why don't you call the cops? And they're like, the line's dead. That's the only thing he knows is to break the line. Nothing else.
That's it,
He's
though.
not setting traps or anything, except in the 2009 reboot he does that. But in all the other movies, he's just like, he's just for the most part.
Yeah, he's just and one other thing. I mean, and we'll get into. I mean, I'm not even going to talk about my questions I have about him in the first movie, but he's wearing the same clothes. I'm assuming that he's worn his entire life. They look so clean. Like, you would think this guy.
He's growing. He's still a growing boy, right?
But he doesn't have dirty clothes. He lives in the woods.
Yeah,
his clothes were so clean in this movie, like ridiculous. Like, he really should have like grass hanging out of it and like weeds and dirt all over, like nothing. So, okay.
See, that'd be a good bit if we were able to do, and nobody's done it. Obviously, we have like the scary movies, but nobody's probably gotten the rights to do all of the movies and make fun of all of them. But could you imagine that Jason, they go into his like little crappy looking shed. They open the sheriff opens the one. It's all dry cleaned. He's like Superman. It has like 5 or 6 of the same outfit.
Well, he's like Michael Myers that just wears the same
mechanic dude. He steals mechanic jumpsuit, man.
That somehow every mechanic has the same size jumpsuit. It's like one size fit all.
And he's a big dude.
He is.
Jason could fit in everyone. He's like 5'8", 5'9".
Well, I said he's a small Jason. And again, he's clumsy. Like he falls all over the place. So it's a different Jason. Now, before we even get to the movie, so I mean, obviously we start a lot of flashback from the first movie. So the kid at the end of the first movie that takes her down from the boat.
That's Jason.
Okay. I know it's Jason, but did that really happen?
I don't know. I never seen anything with Sean Cunningham if he ever said that was legit. Steve Miner, the director of this movie, was asked, and he worked on the first one, but in this one, they've asked him years later at like anniversaries of seeing the movie, and he said the end scene is definitely not a dream in this movie. I don't know about the first one, but to me, obviously at the time they probably thought that.
It's the same. This ending is the same ending as the first movie, and it raises questions again. It's like, what's really happening? Because then it shows you like her in the hospital, her on the gurney, her like it's just like I feel like the ending of both these movies are just like thrown in there for like surprise value, but no explanation.
Or than maybe the buzz from the first one after that scene. Maybe after the movie, people were talking about it everywhere, and they're like, "Let's just replicate the same thing." Because I bet you, even after the second one, they probably didn't think this would work again.
No.
To me, if I was alive when this came out, let's say if I was in my teens, and this would have been like my glory to be able to see this movie, because it truly jumps the shark. You took a movie that didn't have a character. There's no other movies like that.
Right.
I'm sure there's action movies and you have the spin-offs like Ballerina for the John Wick movies, but like in this one, it's insanity because you're taking somebody who, like you said, at the end of the movie, he's a little boy that pulls her into the water, and he's a man. He's a man in this one.
So what's the time frame? It's 5 years, right? Between the first movie and this movie.
Yeah, well, he hunts her down. He hunts down Adrian King.
Correct.
That's again, right afterwards.
Okay.
And then 5 years later.
Okay.
Then 5 years later, he appears again.
Wait, so when he hunts her down, that's like right after, supposedly?
Yeah, I don't like that, but that's what I read online multiple places. Then the time jump happens, the 5 years, because that's when the sheriff establishes.
Okay.
That.
So, but when he attacks her, he's a grown man. But if it's it was a kid, so he grew in like a few months. Okay.
So I think they had the cop out of saying it was definitely a dream.
Okay.
Like you just maybe felt the spirit and like. But one cool trivia of this: the first time Jason appears on screen, he is not a man. It is played by the costume designer.
Why?
She wore the outfit for that opening scene when he steps in the puddle after the little boy is like jumping.
When you see the leg, view. Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
But why?
I don't know. If it could have been in the documentary. They just mentioned it as like a one-off thing, but no detail. I'm guessing they were probably like, "Oh man, nobody's on set for this. We're filming it, so let's get this going."
So you drop a bomb like this that Jason was portrayed as a woman in the beginning of the movie, but don't have an answer why? I mean, it's pretty
Ellen Lutter.
big.
Let's see if Ellen Lutter is on Instagram.
Okay.
She worked on a lot of stuff.
Okay.
She worked until no details on if she's alive or not. But if she is, wow, that'd be something to be like. How cool is that? How does that happen? Could you imagine?
Why?
That's such a big moment in horror history.
Correct.
She's the one in the opening scene. Again, that could have been something. Because again, they don't film movies obviously in the correct order. So maybe it was the end. They were all done. They sent home Warrington Gillette. I think the other guy's name was like Steve Dart. Maybe they sent them home and were like, "Shit, we gotta see him walk up to the house."
No, that's a story. That's a story that we need. You know what? I almost wish I guess you found that out after the interview, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if Russell would have even known because he probably wasn't there for that. But yeah, I'll reach out to him.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe I can ask him. Okay, so here's if it was a dream, which also doesn't make sense because she dreamed. She's never met Jason, has no clue what Jason looks like, yet the Jason that comes out of the water looks very similar to the Jason that's in all the other movies. Bald with like stringy, sparse hair, and like So how would she
Some
know
of them,
that?
and then when he's zombies, and
Well,
he's
that's
like a
different. Yeah,
skull.
that's
But
a
yeah,
different
you're
story.
right. Yeah, yeah. I love the fact, like, so again, there's two different documentaries you can watch online. There's the Crystal Lake Memories, and then there's one that was done right away, and it's very interesting. Like Adrian King talks about wanting to come back, and in the first documentary, that just she looks younger, so I'm guessing it's I would assume it's the first one, and she's very like, oh yeah, it was so great. It talks about it was all improv, like that scene. There's no script. Her real death scene, which you mentioned before we started recording, you saw the unrated. So you saw the thing go through her nose,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
In the other version, because they cut so much out, it's really just it hits her. She
Oh,
actually got injured because the thing didn't fully like go in, like go whatever
retractable.
a retractable ice pick. It
Yeah.
didn't retract.
Oh
It like
wow.
stabbed her and shit. But in the second, in the Crystal Lake Memories, her recount of the story is yeah, they didn't want to bring me back. They didn't know what to do. And then the guy, this older guy, is just like, this producer is like, yeah, her agent wanted too much money. I'm like, oh my god! And they get rid of her so quick, isn't that like?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's a really cool scene because usually that's like almost Michael Myers stalkish. It was a
It
very long.
it is, but it doesn't make sense because this is a woman who had a very traumatic experience, what, a few months ago, and her way of dealing with it is to be alone in a house. Like you I don't think she would be comfortable alone, especially hearing noises. She goes outside, like if that traumatic experience, I don't think she ever want to be left alone again. You know what happened to her. So yeah,
How
I
about
don't
this
think.
one? Where does she live? It's a summer camp.
Uh,
I'm sure most of the time you do go to a summer camp that you're working as a counselor close by. But again, counselors are probably 19 to 22. Maybe she's home, but how does he know where she lives?
Well, that I said that. I was starting to say that before, and then we jumped around. I said,
Oh, okay.
the fact that he knew he had her address. Like, this is a guy that lives in the woods, probably grew up in the woods, didn't know anyone else, like, his whole life, who's, let's just say, he's not all there. I mean, clearly, yet he could figure out not only figure out, how does he get there? He's walking to her house.
Well,
She could live miles. I doubt she lives close to Crystal Lake.
oh, I know. That's
yes.
100%. She does not live close. What's crazier? The fact that he found out where she lived, or even though he's a drowned boy that somehow kept growing and all of that, lived in this like shack in the woods, he knows, hey, that tea kettle's going off. I got to move it to the back burner.
What was the point? I see when he did that, I thought something like he was going to use that. Like, I thought he was going to use like the burner or something, right? But he just moved it. Like, that was just like a silly kind of thing they had there. I mean, like, yeah. I mean,
God, they could have made it really gruesome because you got to think he's the one. I know throughout the other movies he like lumps counselors together and like teens really. Oh, they're the one that killed my mom. That's why I'm murdering them. But like, it would have been really gruesome to start the movie again. She's the one that he knows did it. This is his first kill that we'd know about, like his revenge. If he would have poured that tea kettle, even if you didn't even see her, if you just saw him pour it and hear the sound. But that was a cool opening to the film.
How would he know that he killed her? Because Jason's mom thought Jason was dead. Right? She didn't know. She doesn't know he's alive. So somehow they're both living in the woods, don't know each other's alive. So how did he know that he killed her?
How did he know that she was?
He wasn't in the first movie. And Jason's
mom. No, I know, but again, I'm talking about they changed the whole thing. No, so it's like that was a dream. He's just watching.
Yeah, but Mrs. Voorhees doesn't even know. Doesn't thought Jason was dead. That's her whole point, right? So she didn't even know he was alive.
Yeah.
So okay, all right, and back to Mrs. Voorhees. Really, isn't she to blame why he drowned? I mean, you're sending your son to camp that's on a lake, who, if he can't swim and you leave him, and he's not. I guess he's not, again, all there, mentally, and you're gonna be okay with like young kid counselors watching your child in the water? She's at fault.
And that's what they did in Freddy vs. Jason. They talked about, remember, it was just like he was getting picked on, he was getting bullied, and then that's how that kind of happened. But no, is he watching? Oh, mom, hey, mom, oh my God, I've been looking for you. But
yeah, okay. And
he had a shack that no one saw. No one saw that shack for all these years.
Wait a second. How about the fact that if he's been missing all this time and she thought he was dead, how does he even know who his mom is? Because he was a kid when he drowned.
Maybe recognize the boy on the flyers. She was handing out flyers or something.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of questions. I mean, maybe Egan has all these answers, and I'm sure he'll, send us a text and let us know. But
I hope so. Or anybody else at Sequels Only on social media.
Okay.
Or Doug at sequelsonly.com. Let us know. So,
one thing I do like about these movies is it just starts. Like no credits. It goes right into the movie. Like it's like it doesn't waste any time until later on you get the credits. But like it.
Do you know this is one of the longest pre-credits?
It
felt like Paramount's ever done.
That's
18
good.
minutes. 18 minutes.
That's how it should be. That's how it should be. So, why does Jason have one eye in the sack?
I don't know why they did in the documentary, not talking about that too much. They said they did that because they couldn't see. Like at first it was nothing, which is nuts. So they basically used the one eye thing and then like taped it so he could see out of it. But the one thing that a lot of people that worked on the movie that loved horror, they were talking about the Scarecrow. What's the name of it? The Scarecrow Walks at Midnight or something, which is a horror movie. And he has the bag on his head. Oh, is it Scarecrow Walks at Midnight? What the heck is the name of that one?
Okay. Okay. Wait. So you're telling me that he couldn't see out of the sack, so they opened up his eye with tape so he could see. How about making 2 holes in a sack? Wouldn't that help? Like, yeah. So instead of like taping his eyes wide open so he could see, how about just put another hole in there? Why would it think of, I mean, like, it just looks bizarre with the one eye. Like, I mean, maybe it looks creepier that way, just like why, like, it's such a bizarre thing, but yeah. All right.
Why have to wear anything? Are you, is he that self-conscious? Is he finding mirrors or looking at the reflection in the lake?
I was going to say, he's got no mirrors in his house, so he should have no clue what he looks like. Or if it does know what he looks like, he should be like, everybody must look like me. Because what does he know it's normal or not? Like I want to see a movie where we see Jason that drowned and how he got from drowning to his adulthood. Like what that in that time frame, what was going on? Like that's what a prequel should be.
Those awkward teen years of him,
but he had no one teaching him anything, so he's learning as he goes.
He knows nothing. And the movie, before someone corrects me, it's The Town That Dreaded Sundown. I'm correcting myself. That's the movie where the baghead guy, they said, oh man, it's basically like they did the same thing. And it's so funny to think about in what the franchise is known for doesn't happen until 2.5 films in, and the third one. But it's like, there's a point in this movie. What if when he put on that mask?
Oh yeah.
Like, what if somebody that worked on that movie that had power was like, that's it.
Yeah.
It would have changed everything, dude.
It would, and that's a creepy mask that was there. So
very weird.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, so then we have so Alice is dead, and then we cut to the camp.
But this is not Crystal Lake. This is a different camp, right?
It's right down the road. It's connected.
Okay. So it's part of Crystal Lake?
I'm sure they share some of the same water, but the other one's called Camp Blood. Yeah, I'm sure it's all Crystal Lake. It's a huge lake in all those movies. Yeah.
But again, like, and this goes on through all the movies. How can they not condemn it after the massacres that happen every single year? And
the entire lake? I know. Well, yeah. Why would you be like, guys, there's other lakes in this town. We'll use other lakes.
But okay, not only that, how do parents think this is a good idea to keep sending their kids to these places where somehow, first of all, there's only one Friday the 13th where you see kids. Otherwise, you never see the children.
Don't you see him for a little? Well, definitely in Jason Lives, because that's like the fart head.
Well, which the guy in this movie reminded me of Farthead, the creeper, the first kill. Wasn't he the first kill?
Yeah. After Alice. Yeah. I can't think of his name. Why can't I think of his name?
He's in the first movie too, though, right? He was the same creeper.
Yeah, he's the one who warns him, and he warns him in this movie too.
So
You're all doomed.
Does he work for the lake, or he's just a creeper that's creeping
he's just
around?
An alcoholic guy that rides around on his bicycle.
Okay. All right.
And in this movie, he's not. Is he named the Prowler? No, there's no way his character. Oh, Crazy Ralph. There.
Okay. Much better.
Crazy Ralph. Yep. Yeah. But
He
in
looks
this
like Crazy
movie,
Ralph.
there is 6 extra counselors in this movie.
What do
6
you mean?
people that get to survive.
Oh,
So there's 6 people that go to the bar with everyone. And it's so random because we see them randomly in some of those scenes.
Yep.
I'm just mentioning that because earlier I was thinking, how many of those extras were there? A total 6.
Well, not even extras. The redhead guy that's from Just One of the Guys.
I know.
Which I mean, he always plays a weirdo. I mean, clearly he played a weirdo in this movie, and he was a weirdo in Just One of the Guys. But he was at the bar. They left him at the bar, and then you never hear from him again. So he survived. So he should have been in the next movie.
Usually the drunk people die. People that drink or have sex or do drugs.
Yeah, but they left him there.
It was a strategy for him.
It was. But yeah, and kind of weird because he was wasted. I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming he got there with them, and you're just gonna leave your friend in the middle of nowhere, like at a bar like that drunk by himself.
Well, it was the other car. There was the pickup truck, which whoever's driving that's super dangerous. It was all he only stayed because the bartender gave him a look.
Yeah.
That's the only reason he was super into it. It was funny because he's in the movie Christine, and they film his death scene in the movie. It's killed by the car. And they cut it. So he's like, he goes, I'm too funny looking when I die. So that's why they don't kill me in movies.
Was he weird?
It was weird, right? In
was
this
he
movie,
weird?
He had so many lines for somebody that wasn't there at the end.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know when Just One of the Guys came out, but it had to be around
80, 89. Yeah, probably a few years after that.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
So, I mean, did he play a weirdo in Christine too? Did he play the doofy?
I don't remember him in Christine. I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Okay.
I should watch that again. I
never saw it.
What's his name's in it? The Thurston Mellon's son from Back to School is the main kid.
Oh, that really? Oh yeah, you know what? You're right. I knew he was in there.
And from Jaws 2, that guy.
Yeah.
So then we get the couple that arrived. Jeff and I believe it's Jeff and Sandra.
Do you like having flashbacks the way this was a 6-minute flashback, right? So I look at how long it was. Do you like having that in the beginning of the movie to start the next movie?
For these, it does get me pretty pumped up.
Okay.
Really, the one. What's the one that's really good? Beginning of 4, I think. Right. I feel like the final chapter is a really good one that recaps, I think, the first couple movies. Well, the 2 and 3.
Do they do that in all the? No, they don't do it in all the movies, right?
No.
Okay.
No, Manhattan starts Red in the Lake.
Okay.
7 starts Conjuring Up. Yeah.
Okay.
This one, it's so cool to me. These movies that they created a character out of thin air, pretty much. It was just this boy, and they just and he just evolved and became this thing.
It became
such an amazing thing.
To me, I think he's bigger than Michael Myers, Jason. Right? I mean,
yeah.
And so I mean, and I think Freddy's up there. I don't know who's a bigger. I mean, they're both, but imagine a character that, like you said, wasn't in the first movie. Really, technically, he's not even in the second movie. Because it's not Jason that we know today. Yet, from this, they built a franchise and built such the most iconic horror villain. From I mean, that is pretty wild from back then. And horror movies didn't have too many sequels back then, right? So it's
no, sequels weren't a big thing in anything. So it was pretty remarkable that it was just and even this movie, I looked it up before. This movie budget was 1.25, and it did, I think, 22 million, which is
that's
sick
for back then. Yeah.
20 times return on your movie,
and
you got to
those
think that's
kills
why
are pretty
kept
good.
Doing these.
The kill would kill. Well, I think just because a lot of horror movies, back then they're always supernatural. This was just because, I mean, it was something that could happen at any camp, right? You have the crazy creeper in the woods. We didn't know him as Zombie Jason yet. So this is I mean, especially this one, he was just a maniac killer, a serial killer living in the woods. That's just how this one was portrayed.
Yeah. So now Jeff and Sandra, they're on the phone. They're calling the redhead guy. I think his name's Stu.
He looks like a Stu.
I don't know why. That's what he kind of. Oh, Ted. Oh, his real name's Stu. Yeah. So they call Ted. They're looking for him, And Ted plays a little prank on him, gets him towed. And I think the guy who's a tow truck guy is the guy that played Jason. There's like three people that played Jason, and 4 including the costume designer that did in that opening scene. But and then we see Crazy Ralph. He says you're all doomed, and it's so funny. I always think of actors like they get casted in these movies, and I feel like they're like, oh, that guy looks like blank. We're gonna have in our movie because maybe people will be like, yeah, that kind of looks like that guy. Jeff looks like Hickey from Kaneki from Grease.
Who's Jeff? The blonde hair
guy? Jeff was the one that the spear on the bed. Jeff and Sandra.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think the other guy, the blonde hair guy that was with what's her name? The
Paul?
main he looked like Jeff Daniels in Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
He looked like a young version of Jeff Daniels. If you like look at him again, because I pointed out to my daughter, I'm like, he does like just a young version of Dumb and Dumber. Same haircut, Harry. He looked like Harry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, so Ted plays that prank on him. They get in, they're heading to the camp, and I love when they go, and then there's like the branch across the road, which it's almost like okay, there's other people at the camp already. I think I don't know if they're the first ones that get there. I don't remember when they arrive if they say that, but I love that one of the lines is looks like someone dragged it across. That would freak me out. If somebody said that, I'd be like, "What? Somebody is."
Why would you think that? Like it's just like such a random thing to even say. Yeah.
How does Jason think that? Me drag a log, trap car. Like I wonder.
What did he turn into? He turned into a caveman all of a sudden?
I would think so. He doesn't talk to people. How do you learn how to talk? He was only up to 9 years old, and then he's been by himself ever since.
Yet he could figure out how to find directions in the Yellow Book. Because back then, it was. So I mean, come on. Yeah. Okay.
Jason, I love that scene. He looks up Alice, and then he goes to the local pizza place, and he goes, "Where's this street?" Because he can't get a map. He can't read a map. Or he orders her a pizza to the address. He goes, "Hey, mind if I lay in the back?"
Or he's working as a pizza guy.
Yes, he infiltrates the town. He's like, I gotta wait at least a month to kill her. So he starts there. He's employee of the month.
Even though they never see his face, they don't even question why he has a bag on his head. Just
yeah, it's like Susan, Tommy, and then back at Jason, one eye showing. Oh my god, dude! So now we get so they get there while they're in the woods. They find Sandra finds the Camp Blood sign, and Jason's peeping already. He peeps a lot in this one. It's very Michael Myers-ish.
It is, but at the same time, these woods are not dense at all. And there's no way anybody could peep in these woods throughout the whole movie because there's literally paths that they're walking on. Trees are sporadic. The fact that he's able to hide and no one sees him. I mean, it just so ridiculous that no one sees anybody in this movie.
I know. Well, the sheriff does, and he runs after him. That's why I couldn't be a cop. I'd be like, dude, I need to get home.
He
I
also
don't need to chase this guy.
He was exhausted by the time he get there. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking because he had a hard time.
Oh man! So now we start meeting the cast of character. We meet Russell as Scott. He does the old slingshot rock to the ass. I didn't know that was a move, but it seems like it's working. And I wrote what an ass it was. And I still think it's amazing to me, mind blowing. And you got to think of this movie and the franchise and the horror and everything that a Mickey Mouse shirt got into the movie. To me, that's nuts.
Yeah. And we missed early in the beginning, by the way, and we've mentioned this multiple times. When she was home at the house in the beginning of the movie, the cat jump scare. That happens in every single movie. It's always a cat.
They just throw the cat. The cat.
Oh, always. Yeah, I wonder. Is so the sound effects of the cat, are they using the same sound effects that every movie does, or they're just literally tossing the cat so the cat screams, or they step on the cat's tail to get him to scream, and then I
hope that's a guy. I hope that's not even. I hope that's a professional.
Wait,
that's all he does.
Professional cat caller.
Yeah. Hey, baby.
No, we need the other cat call. Imagine he's he goes,
wrong audition.
That'd be funny.
That would be pretty funny. But it would be great if it was just somebody just making those sounds.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no, that is something that is always in horror.
Every movie.
Was it a black cat?
Oh no, I think it was an orange cat.
Oh, okay.
Why would it have to be a black cat?
Usually black cats, scary witches. You don't cross a black cat.
There's no witch in this movie.
Well, how is he alive? So there's got to be something.
Okay, all right.
Drowning boy. It would make sense if it was like, oh yeah, he drowned and he stayed the same size. He kept growing. His body's dead, but somehow he's still.
How long was he under at that camp that no one saw him resurface? Like how did they wait like 30 seconds? Oh, he's done. Like, and that's it. Like, and they walked away because I mean, clearly he didn't drown. So like he couldn't have been under there that long that they basically gave up real quick.
Dude, we could do a whole spoof movie on this. Like, really, like it'd be like he's drowning for 30 seconds. Guys, let's get him. Hey, pizza's here. Oh, sorry. Quitting time. But you're right. You know what? They never talk about finding them. One thing I do love is in this movie, we get like, I know it's later in the movie. I just want to talk about it now because I think it is so great when you're doing something that isn't really on camera. You don't really know too much about him. And I wish they kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but in a sense, I guess it still works. Is when Ginny's at the bar. I just think this is such a cool part. Let's see if I have the right one. Let's have the audio of it because I think it's so cool. But he went to camp?
So how does she know all this information? She's assuming? I think he knows the meaning of death.
Yeah. But I think that's what's so cool. She's putting together like...
She's trying to rationalize...
That's what she means. Like, he doesn't know what death means. It's not to him.
Correct.
It's not like what's the consequence? It's like this.
Well, then you have to question why is he killing people if he doesn't understand what death is?
Maybe he thinks it's fun. He's watched Bugs Bunny cartoons. Is his knowledge?
Okay. I don't see. Was there a TV in his shack?
I would have loved that if there was a TV or like comic books or something.
Yeah.
But I just think that's such a cool scene. It would have been cool a little bit earlier, but it's still so great. And she's again, there's sometimes we watch these movies, or if you watch these horror movies, you have the Kevin Bacons of the world, the Jamie Lee Curtises that go on and do other stuff. But she's like a great actress in this. Like that dialogue, her relationship with Paul.
And she was young. She was young. She had to be like what, 20 years old? Oh.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Paul's a little bit older, but it was what a weird like she gets. Oh, don't be mad at me. They make out, and then she's like, "All right, I'm out."
Well, they were playing. I mean, I think they were trying to hide it from everybody else.
Yeah,
that's clearly.
Oh,
they
knew.
Yeah. So, but I mean, listen. I mean, I think the relationship with the guy and the girl that got speared. I think that's a weird one. He looks so much older than her.
Oh yeah. She was pretty young. She was probably 18, 19. He's like 23, 24.
Yeah. Well, again, in these movies, they always look so much older. Some of these guys, like, all the time. But then we always, in this movie, I think it happened pretty early on. We get the usual that we see all the time, and we've discussed this so many times of the midnight swim. So,
oh my God, dude.
Which again is no way. I don't think anybody would do that unless one. If you're going with friends, even then, I still wouldn't want to do it. Like, you don't know what's floating around in snakes or alligators or whatever, but you're going to go alone. And why even take your clothes off? And take your clothes off to go in there? You had to take your clothes off to go in there alone in a lake that, God forbid, if anything happened to you, no one's going to be able to hear you or see you. Like, just like it happens all the time. Like, who does that? And it's always a woman. Like, they're not afraid to go out there. I'll tell you right now.
Imagine the scene of the guy just walking out there and be like, you know what?
No, but like you couldn't pay me to do that. Like, because it was dark. Like you couldn't see that water. No way I would ever go in a lake late at night by myself.
Yeah, no way.
But women always do it.
Yeah. So then Ginny shows up late. Paul's talking to everybody. And then we get a scene after that. And I wrote down like, wow, the idea of summer camp like seems so great. They're all just like playing board games. And just hanging out, like riffing, like, Scott is trying to get with Terry, tries to dance with her. So he starts dancing with Muffin the dog, which is this like this is the first dog of the franchise. I'm pretty sure. I remember a dog in the original. I haven't seen that in a while.
Well, I was a little upset at one point in this movie for
really
with the dog.
Well,
they find remains of the dog.
Well, I don't think that's the dog.
Well, I know, but you didn't know that. I mean, so when they said that, but and again, they do this in all the. I mean, and I was young, in the 70s or early 80s. But like, there's always like that one couple that's dancing at a house party, and like, it's just weird. Like, no one does that.
That's me. I would do that. I try to start it. I'm like, come on, put the music on a little.
So you're at a house with 5 people. You're gonna say, "Hey, you want to dance in front of the TV? You want to dance in a living room? Let's move the table out of the way so we could do like weird dancing to music that doesn't."
They were weird dancing, but I love that right away. She's like, "Okay, we got to go to Camp Blood tomorrow." Like, she can't stop thinking about it, and I get it, but I don't know if I'd be like, "Hey, so what'd you do this weekend?" "Oh, I went to this counselor training. I went to that place where all those people were murdered."
And it's, you know what? I almost feel like the women are always braver than the guys in these movies. Like, I mean, like, he didn't look. I don't think he wanted to go, but he was going because of her.
No,
but yeah, I mean, yeah. All right.
And then Ginny bails. She wants to get out of there. And I wrote down: do all women, when they get to their respective homes, they all just get to their bras? Like, I get it's probably just that, again, it's that what horror is. It's like, so to speak, like you're watching something that's so bad, so illegal, and you're watching something that, you're kind of like, because it's voyeuristic, because at this point, they're kind of making it seem like it's Jason. It's revealed, obviously, it's creepy, crazy Ralph looking up.
I think women can't wait to take their bra off to release, like, right? Not to like just walk around in your bra, or what's even weirder is the other one changed her underwear to ugly underwear when she was waiting for that guy.
I guess that was a lucky underwear for her. I don't know.
But like that whole scene made no sense. And then she goes outside.
It did,
like,
and she took forever.
Oh, forever. But that was
Could you imagine that? You don't know somebody at all. You're like, oh my God, we're gonna do this.
So let's put on ugly silky underwear. Look like granny panties. Like, it was just like awful. Yeah. Okay.
It was very odd that whole thing
was.
But, so crazy Ralph's peeping, and then Paul shows up. He sneaks in. That was like the first, like, oh wow, that's scary. And then we see it's actually Crazy Ralph, and it's funny because you could tell it's him when you see the shadow, because you see his hat.
You
see that it's a hat, and obviously not a bag. Because at this point, when do we first see the bag? Late in the movie, right?
Yeah, you don't see his head until.
Is the first time we see him in the bed? I think so.
Maybe.
I think so.
Well,
that might be the first time you see his head.
Well, you don't see it, like, so who dies before it? The wheelchair dies before the bed, right? Right before the bed.
We don't see any. We don't see anything.
That's what I'm saying. So it might be, because I think,
unless in your uncut, like the one version you watch. No, I don't know if there was.
You don't see him for Crazy Ralph. With the tree, and I don't think you see it with the wheelchair. So the next kill is the bed, right? From the wheelchair.
No, it goes
Crazy Ralph, the wheelchair.
Then isn't it Scott and Terry? I feel like Scott and Terry are dead before the couple upstairs.
So you don't even see Jason for those kills?
I don't know. Scott just comes up, you see the machete.
So then
Terry, you don't even see her kill on screen.
So the spear is the last kill.
No, the girl is. The girl that Vicky, who finds
which one's Vicky?
We'll get into all of them. Vicky's the one who's with the guy in the wheelchair. She walks in, finds dude. She walks in the room, she's like, Jeff? Santa?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So Crazy Ralph, is he? Yeah, dude, the death by wire, dude, that's rough. You really think about a wire, it's not like it's gonna per se cut you, just how strong.
That's a mafia thing. They do that in the back. Yeah. You see it in every mafia movie. There's someone hiding behind it, which, how does that happen? Like, you go to your car, you can't see a guy in your back seat. They didn't have tinted windows back then, like in those like cars. So like,
I always check my car just because of urban legends. I always check my back seat.
I do,
always.
But I mean, but at the same time, like, and usually the guys that are like doing the killing, they're usually like the fat, like big guys in the mafia, like like. You're gonna tell me
chase you.
He's hiding.
They need you to come to them.
No, but he's hiding behind a seat like this. Like, he's hiding. Like, you can't see him, and somehow they're always surprised when you look in the mirror and you see the wire come over. The thing goes right over the neck and everything else. So that was a mafia thing that he killed him with. I thought he was gonna take his head off with it. I thought he was gonna pull so hard that it was gonna go right through his neck.
maybe some of the ones I know you saw the uncut version, but I think there's even more. Even though I guess they would show everything, and uncut would mean it would have everything.
Wasn't there another Jason of Friday the 13th that had an uncut version also that was supposed to be way bloodier?
Oh yeah, part 7 got.
Oh, maybe that's the one.
The ratings took
Yeah.
so much. So many of those kills are like just not. Remember the bag?
Yeah.
The sleeping bag. It was just. They only did one hit, and it was kind of weird because it was like, oh, it hit once and it's all bloody right away. But that's what they had to do in order to get the movie out. So, so Ralph's dead. We get the next day. The counselors are working out. They're hiking. And this is when Muffin meets Jason. And I do love the cut. My wife was watching at this point. They cut to the hot dogs on the grill, dude. That's great.
Well, at this point, you don't like you. They don't give you an idea if anything happened to Muffin. Like because they don't. They just show like the interaction of Muffin and Jason, and that's it.
Yeah.
So you don't know anything. Like I wasn't thinking anything happened. I'm thinking like, all right, they're gonna pretend like something happened, but you're gonna see the dog later on. But we do find remains later on. But what were those remains?
It could have just been another animal. It's the woods.
From Jason?
You think he's an expert? Maybe. Jason's gonna eat, right? Does he eat?
I was gonna say, does he eat? Because you never see him eat.
You never see me. Could you imagine that? He's going through drive-through. I mean, Ginny is definitely an attractive final girl when you think about it in the franchise, but she's pretty badass. Like, she's ripping. Everybody's eating, and she's ripping a chainsaw right next to it. Like the sawdust is flying in the air.
This chainsaw thing was ridiculous. First of all, that seems awfully dangerous. That you're using a chainsaw when there's a lot of people walking around you back and forth, and you're just happening to, again, first of all, you're a camp counselor. Why are you using a chainsaw to begin with? And then you leave it inside the house? Like that's where you put it?
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
Yeah, where do you put your chainsaw? Do you put it back in the tool shed? No, right next to my nightstand. Where else would you put your chainsaw?
And again, you think she's probably 20. Like, she's not an adult. She's still like, kind of a kid. I mean, because they're counselors. They're not like adults. And she knows how to use a chainsaw and just randomly use it. Like, it's so dumb. So dumb.
Now everybody goes into the water. And then we get Jeff and Sandra. This is when they want to go to Camp Blood. Like you were talking about, that's when they found the remains and they get caught by the sheriff.
Now,
do you stickler.
Oh yeah, but do you think how long do you think he waited before he grabbed them?
He was probably like, all right, they're gonna start doing anything. But yeah, he was really annoyed. I get it. I obviously get it, but I love the blaming of fire. It's been quiet here for 5 years. And I'm like, oh my God. Again, would you really think at this point you're an officer of the law? Like the lady who did it is dead. Like that's confirmed.
Yeah.
But no, for some reason he's saying no, it means it's gonna happen again. If counselors come back, killers return. Like that's what happens.
And you I think you just made a point. So she dies in the beginning of the movie. That had to be known, right? That the woman that killed Jason Voorhees' mom is now dead. Had to make the news. Right?
Well, she's missing. She's missing.
Oh, so they don't know she's dead.
No, her body is in his villa, Jason, in the woods.
So that was the body? Well, okay.
We see his body, yeah.
Okay.
We see her and Terry.
I remember seeing a couple bodies there. I just wasn't sure who it was. So, okay. So you're telling me, again, now, okay, he doesn't drive. We assume that the house is far away.
Yeah, this is great, yeah.
So he's carrying that body over his shoulder. No one sees him walking from the house to him with a dead body over his shoulder all the way to the shed in the woods.
He only can do it at night, and he has to take breaks. Okay. But yeah, no, that's amazing.
That's ridiculous.
Like, how does that happen?
How does that happen? Yeah. I picture him like walking down the highway with a dead body over him. Cars just beeping at him and just going.
Hi. Yeah, she still has the ice pick in her nose. That's the thing. She has the ice pick in her head. You only see it like it's not like they.
I didn't realize
keep
that
on
was
it
her
for a long time, but yeah.
Okay. So can you imagine? I mean, his shed looked like a tornado hit it. When he's there. So this is how he's living. The smell of dead bodies in his shed. I'm sure he has no running water there. So like, it's got to be awful. That maybe laugh later on in the movie when she thought that would be a good idea to go that place for help.
I
Like,
know. Yeah.
go ahead.
Because you're so desperate, right? You're like, oh man, maybe this shack, maybe
Not
this
creepy at all.
house that has boarded up
That's
windows and doors, maybe they're home.
the house looked like it was sunken in. Like the roof looked like it was
Yeah.
sunken in. Like it literally looked like a tornado hit it because you walk in there, there's like crap everywhere. Like it's like, yeah, okay.
And the cop is so pissed at Paul, and he's like, "You're not going to reprimand him, Jenny. Make sure they don't get any seconds on dessert." And then the cop's all pissed off. He's probably probably makes him even more angry. So when he does see somebody run in front of his car, is when he chased him to the woods, and then he finds, which is really cool. Just before we recorded, I was like sitting here, and I'm like, "Let me look at the soundtrack." And Harry Manfredi, who does all of the scores for these, except a couple of them, I believe. He names the ones the chase, the sheriff visits Villa Jason. And then later in the movie, he names the track "Return to Chez Jason." So it's pretty funny,
Shay
like those
Jason?
little
That's
joke.
funny.
Yeah,
That's funny.
and he even writes for some of the kills, so and so meets you know who. Like
That's funny.
instead of actually saying his name, but
Well, that's something also you think about, like how impressive that is, that the score that they use from movie 1 all the way up, fits. Like, like they just came up with that
oh
for the
yeah,
first movie, and like they keep using it. And like the fact that like it lasted that long, like something like they just created for that movie, and like it just like that's pretty impressive. Like
yeah, they're so
so.
good, man. I love listening to them.
What was
So
there?
listen, yeah.
Was there the in this?
No, he didn't
There wasn't.
start that until. Oh, I forgot which one he started that in, but yeah, it
So
wasn't in.
what is
Let's
that?
see.
So what is that he does like that we hear?
I think he made it's his voice. It's Harry
That's
Manfredi's voice making that.
no. But what's the purpose? Like in this movie, like you actually hear Jason breathing. Like it reminded me a little bit of Michael Myers. Like he was breathing in this one. It was probably like the real guy in the mask that was just like had a hard time breathing, and like they just kept it in there. But you heard him breathing in this movie, which you never hear him breathe.
No, you don't. Let's see. It's what
But
movie did it start in?
I'm just curious, like what was it though? Like, is that supposed to be him? Like that's his like.
It's supposed to say "kill, kill, kill, ma,
Oh,
ma, ma," like. But what movie did that start in? It doesn't say what movie it started in, which is very upsetting. I don't know. I don't remember it in this movie. Yeah, Egan, let me know. But yeah, no, the score's so good, and dude, his death is cool too. Just the hammer to the back of the head, dude. Like,
oh,
what a way to freaking go. Like,
yeah,
oh, the pain.
yeah.
Security guard in Halloween 2 went this similar route. He had one in the back of the head, but it just shows the power of Jason, because at this point we don't know what he's going to be like yet. I know his mom had some creative kills, but in this it's like, what's this guy going to be? And he kind of is like his mom without him knowing.
Well, and that's the thing. He does have creative kills. You would think that he would just like almost kill everybody with his bare hands because he's just like a wild,
Yeah.
like but he has like, I mean, there are a lot of different type of kills. I mean, I think the wheelchair is one of the worst ones.
Oh,
I mean,
dude.
it's bad enough that he's in a wheelchair, and then like you got to push him
That's
down
what
the
they
stairs.
said in the thing. Yeah, the way he goes, and they built a track for the guy going down like
Oh my
crazy.
gosh.
So, do you think the director didn't like the officer, the cop, because the way he made him run so
Oh,
hard,
I know.
and it was his choice to run into like the thick weeds, like they were almost like trees growing out. He's running, smacking his face into them, looking left and right, and then starting to run again.
And that's why I said he looked exhausted, and I think
Yeah.
that was a natural response for him. I don't think like he was acting exhausted. I think he was really
Yeah, he was
exhausted from
really,
running.
yeah. I just love the Jason house, but yeah.
Oh.
So hammer to the head, he's done. So then this is where I wrote down, wow, there's a lot of main characters that I don't remember. And I was like, man, there was a guy in suspenders that I've never seen before, and he had one line. He's like, yeah, I'll go, when they're talking about going to the bar. But then like we have the handful of people that stick around, and at this point I think it's 45-ish into the movie, and we get Terry, Mickey Mouse. She goes, I'm gonna go look for Muffin, and this is what you talked about. So she's going to look for Muffin, And mid looking for a Muffin, she goes, "You know what I got to do right now to find this dog? I got to take my clothes off and get in this water." That what if the dog came back? The dog's like, "Owner, where are you?"
And the dog was missing all day. You're gonna go at midnight to look for the dog? Like you're not gonna see. You can't. It was dark out. Where did she think she was gonna see him? Like she didn't seem concerned the rest of the day.
Oh, I know. Yes, at all. Well, I guess right after that is she doesn't care about the dog anymore.
No.
Once Scott comes over and takes her clothes, she doesn't really care.
No, she doesn't. Not only she doesn't care. Like it was like. First of all, were they even dating?
No, they just met. Most of those people just met for the first time.
And even
not most of them. I guess Jeff and
the couple in the beginning
knew. They knew each other. Yeah.
But I mean, like, even when, like, after he gives her shirt back, she leaves it open the entire time.
It's the rules, man. Well, she followed the rules, and then she kept them going.
Okay. All right. Yeah, but this movie didn't have any nudity.
Yeah.
Did it?
Yeah, she gets nude right there. We just talked about it. She went skinny dipping.
Yeah, but I don't, did they actually, oh, they did show it. They did show it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
They had to. They had to. This movie wouldn't have made it.
I said, yeah.
It wouldn't have came out.
Was there a Friday the 13th there was no nudity, or was it every single one of them?
I don't know. I would assume it's every single one of them.
Okay.
I don't remember one that there isn't.
Yeah.
Just off the top of my head, I can think of 4, 5. Maybe 6.
So you
6
know
is the only one that 6 in my head. I can't think of one right away. But you just think of the iconic ones in like part 4, Judy Aronson.
Which one with Tina?
Feldman's watching her.
Was there one? I don't know.
Tina's part 7. Yeah,
I don't think there was.
Heidi. I think who was supposed to interview Heidi, she's skinny dipping in the water. So I'm assuming.
Oh, shocker! She was skinny dipping in a Friday the 13th movie. Oh,
she had to.
Okay.
Part of the rules. So at the same time, Jeff is arm wrestling.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
For some dumb reason, and then Sandra's basically like, "Yo, I want to lose. Let's go upstairs. Let's get down." And now at the same time, Jeff and Vicky.
Well, it was Vicky.
Well, it's Vicky.
No,
Jeff, not Jeff and Vicky and Scott.
Whoever,
Scott.
the guy in the wheelchair.
What's the other guy's name? Yeah, what's his name?
No, but it was she was hitting on him.
Oh yeah, she wanted him bad.
Yeah.
She's
the one with the granny panties.
She's the one with the granny panties. Yeah.
Okay. The lucky panties because she had to change into it.
Could you imagine that? It's like,
but again, such a again, these movies with these directors and like how perverted they are, like really that whole scene of her going to a closet, changing clothes was not necessary, right? Like, but for a Friday the 13th movie, it's necessary. It's like it's like back then those stupid directors are like crazy.
Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, his name's Mark, and I just Googled him. Cool thing that just randomly came up. So in the 2009 one that we covered last October, they put purposely in the tunnels. Remember when Jason in the tunnels in that movie? There's a wheelchair and Scott's sweater. Mark's sweater on the side as an homage to his character. That's pretty cool.
And that just came up just now?
Yeah, I just Googled it.
That's fine.
I just Googled really wheelchair Friday the 13th character because I forgot. But yeah, it's Mark.
Okay.
But yeah, so Mark, funny behind the scenes thing, Vicky, like when they got on set, the actress was into him. Because they lived there like a summer camp.
Yeah,
low budget. And she wanted him so bad. And she was like flirting with him, obviously knowing in the script that that's what the characters do. And he's like, "I'm sorry." And she's like, "Oh no, it's okay." He's like, "I'm gay." So she was like, "Oh crap."
That's
amazing. She was a cool in the behind the scenes stuff because she talks about everybody knew how lame I was and a nerd I was because I didn't smoke pot. So that line they said, "Want a toke?"
Oh,
they basically just said improvise like this,
yeah.
and she said, "I want a toke."
That's funny.
Yeah,
that's funny. Okay.
Oh man. So now Scott and at this point they're arm wrestling. They're having their arm wrestling. Mark and Vicky, and whoever wins gets to choose the position that they're going to use. So okay, that's something.
Yeah. No,
again, that'd be weird too. That'd be a weird scenario. Somebody you meet again, you're making them wait for 10 minutes.
They just met them. Yeah.
Yeah, they just met. that the stakes are on, whatever that happens. But then she disappears for 10 minutes to like get ready. And then she comes back and it's like, okay, this is the position I want. It's like, this is kind of weird. This is like
so
very transactional
yeah,
instead
yeah,
of like, hey,
absolutely.
we're hooking up now.
And what makes it even weirder is that there's only like five main counselors. So you're talking about a small circle of people, right? Like, you know, it's like, so that makes it even more awkward. You know, it's like, yeah.
If you think about who's left in the movie, when Paul and Ginny come back, it's really just kind of couples in a sense, like that they were together. So it was like
right, you're right.
8 people. There was no alone people. The alone guy got to stay at the bar. The one guy who knew he couldn't get with any of the chick stays at the bar and
he's the safest one. See? Well, they always say
him back for the 13th. He'd be the greatest character. Like he would have the biggest survivor's remorse.
He
like,
should be the new Jason.
Oh, could you imagine?
He's tall, right? Like that's, and then you find
Jason, skinny Jason would be silly. Like the mask would make his head bobble. He'd like a bobblehead.
But isn't that like one of the rules? Like if you have sex in a 80s horror movie, you're gonna die.
Sex, drugs,
right?
Alcohol, all of that. You're dead.
He's not. You know, that's why he survived.
No, he drank.
He didn't die. Yeah, but he didn't die.
He didn't die. That's what I mean.
That's what I'm saying.
But he's lucky.
He didn't have sex. That's why he didn't die.
No, but it's also drugs and alcohol.
No,
you have to do all 3 of them.
No, I don't know if drugs and alcohol. I think because they all drink. No, because every usually
they all drink, and what happens?
The final girl's always the same thing. They don't die.
Was Ginny? Yeah, I guess she shouldn't drinking a little bit.
I think the sex is the thing. It's like you're gonna do that, you're dead automatically. You're done. Okay.
For Terry, I'd risk it. Okay. So now Scott, again, he gets caught in a trap, and it's like I guess Paul likes making these traps for the bears, and he doesn't really. We don't really see that scene, so I guess that would have been good foreshadowing if we saw them build it like while they were practicing.
Do you think that's a real trap? I mean, like you see that in movies all the time. How does that work? You step, like you're stepping in the center.
I don't get how it sets it off. Yeah,
because it's like you step in the center of it and it just grabs onto your leg, the loop, and flings you upside down. Like, and it's in every movie.
Projects it. Something has to be holding it down. For them to have them, I don't know. But the fact that she's just like, I'll be back to get you. Yeah. I'd be like, how about you just like pull on me now and let's break this branch? Well, instead of leaving me hanging.
Yeah. They shouldn't even try. Like, it's not like she said, like, you know, let me try to get this knot out. I can't do it. I need something else. She's like, all right, let me go. Let me leave and come back.
Yeah. And even when she comes back, if you realize, like, even if he was alive when she came back,
wasn't tall enough.
She was not. No.
No.
It was funny, even her trying, like, it wouldn't work. But yeah, this is where she's going back. She goes to get a knife. She does the towel toss in the bush, which is pretty cool because it's like, oh, it's covering Jason. And then Scott gets the first machete. And as Russell told me, and in the behind the scenes, people always be like, oh, they used the wrong side of the machete. So if you rewatch it, they use like the back side of it.
Oh my
gosh.
But
it still looks great.
I
probably
thought
did that because at that point they were probably like, I'm sure people did have dull blades, but maybe they didn't have a dull machete ready at that time.
I thought he was going to die a different way because he's upside down. I thought he was going to go right down the middle.
Ooh.
Like that.
Later in the movies, they would try that, but maybe it's special effects wise, they were like, hey, let's not try it.
Yeah, I know, but he was upside down. I mean, perfect way to do it.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, so, all right.
But yeah, to get that machete, and then she comes back, and she's like, again, right away, I'd be like, this guy's not moving. His arms are hanging. That's not normal behavior.
So they don't show where he gets the machete from, right? It's an iconic machete, but
no,
like it would have been like the way he gets the mask. They should have had like another way of how he got the machete.
Was it the one that killed his mom?
Was it? Oh, maybe.
That'd be something.
You know what? It probably was. Was it engraved? Maybe it was engraved.
Yeah, she signed it. It's certified by like one of those PSA companies or JSA. It's like, oh, look at that. Oh, my mom signed it. It's got my mom's blood on it. It's definitely legit. Oh man. And so at this point she sees Terry gets back there, she turns him, she sees the blood, she runs, she screams, it cuts, and that's all we see of her. We see her dead body later in the movie. Yeah. We don't see how like what happened to her. But I do love Steve Miner, the director, because he's kind of silly, but I love that he cuts right to the band. rocking out at the bar.
Yeah. No, and I thought you were gonna lead in with that music because usually you try to find the one song.
I should have, yeah. I did
Just,
find that on the soundtrack. Like these, Harry Manfredi has a bunch of this like random music that just says like
were they a
rock
real
band
band though?
sample
Like,
one.
were they like a real
Oh,
band?
I don't know.
Uh,
They're no Doug and the Pontiacs from Ghoulies Go to College, which I did just see that's coming out on like one of those special. Again, I don't collect DVDs or Blu-rays or anything like that.
Egan's,
They are coming
Egan's
out.
getting it.
I already, I told him about it. And I said, I'll be over July 16th. It comes out July 15th. And it has like all the behind the scenes and like, yeah, but no, yeah, dude. And then the scene, like Ted's hammered, we talked about that's what makes him survive, but he's like collecting the bottles. I don't know if a bartender would be cool with it. Excuse me, sir. I don't think you can collect your own trash to bring home. What is the point of that? To like prove to people, be like, I am cool.
I was saying why? Yeah, I mean, he's a counselor. Like what? Like, or it doesn't just not have any money. He's recycling.
Maybe. And he's the one who starts the whole thing because he talks about 5 years ago.
Correct.
Jason, that's Ginny with the clip that we played earlier of her talking about like the why, and it's like pretty cool to have that.
Yeah, but you know what? You think about it though, and you watch these movies. There is usually any character you see in the movie, that's part of like the group. It's never just like forgotten about, and he was completely forgotten about.
Yeah, no mention of him. Well, I guess
mention
at that point. It'd been good at the end, like, oh my god, or he shows up at the camp, guys, what happened?
Something. I mean, but think about it. I don't think there's another movie where any character was introduced that would just like never see him again.
No, of this franchise, I can't remember one. Right,
that's like and he kind of stood out.
Learned
like,
about. Yeah,
he 100% should have been killed. Like his character was a type that would like either be drinking alone in the woods and like Jason comes over or something stupid. Yeah.
He was able to riff his lines, those jokes that he said when they were by the lake. He made those jokes up on the spot. Like they said, like, "Hey, can you tell some jokes?" So he's like, "Those are like some of mine that I just always had in my back pocket." That's like, funny. Wow, you had this. He did the gag in the beginning.
Yep.
He has like he's part of the thing at the end. Why not just throw his drunk ass in the car? But one line, I was going to try to cue up that part, but it's so hard sometimes on here. But I love when Ginny's like going through like a very serious thing, her thoughts, and she goes, "What do you think?" And Paul says, "You're drunk." And then that's when she's like, "I'm out of here." And that's when they head back.
Yeah. Well, they weren't trying to hide it then. I mean, like, clearly. Yeah. So
the guys, we're going to go take care of this. And then this is where Vicky asked about like the wheelchair accident. And then she has the balls to say, "Is it just your legs or anything else?" And I'm like, wow.
Well, wouldn't you be curious if you're dating a woman
early
in a wheelchair?
The relationship? Like,
she changed her underwear for him.
She didn't change yet.
She didn't change yet.
Okay. No. Because once she changes, they don't.
Oh, he's already dead. He's already dead. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That is.
But they're starting to make out. Like this is when they start kissing. Jeff and Sandra upstairs are trying to make out. So they have like so much going. And then I wrote, "Oh my god, this spontaneity is done," because now Vicky needs to get stuff. She's changing her underwear, and it's just like, why ruin that? I wrote, she also put on a pretty ugly sweater for a makeout.
She did, and so like, why would you at that point if she was ready to go? How about just go upstairs and not change her underwear at all and just get everything off?
That's true.
Like she was ready to go. Like I mean, yeah.
Speaking of upstairs, how about she spray perfume downstairs? Is that like is that something?
I think it is. I think it is. But there was an upstairs, right, to that place?
Yeah. That's where Jeff and Sandra were.
How is the wheelchair guy getting up there?
Well, they were going to do it on the couch.
Oh, okay.
Maybe he probably has a room downstairs. I would hope so.
They didn't show any rooms down there. All the rooms seem to be upstairs. So
yeah.
Okay.
Dude, again, the most brutal death in the franchise, and it's like you have like now at this point it's thunderstorming again. Why was Vicky even going anyway? It's that late. It's very late because the music's playing still, so it's probably like 10, 11 o'clock. Ted's hammered at this point. So yeah, dude, when the lightning strikes and he's like, "Vicky,"
Yeah.
Vicky, is that you? And you see the way it's like you don't see his face. And you see that machete hit, and you're like,
Right to the
oh
head.
my God.
But so, do you think he was dead before he went down the stairs, or do you think like
Oh,
he
he
was
was
still
dead
alive?
instantly, I would
Okay.
think, right? I hope
Well, I
so.
mean, then what's the
Ugh.
point of like pushing him down the stairs? Like, I think that's almost funny, or like it's like, yeah. And like again, you see this in a lot of movies, but like the wheelchair doesn't tip over. Like it somehow makes it down like in a perfect like bouncing around. Like that's like a Leslie Nielsen thing. Like
It is,
I could.
yeah. But what a ballsy stunt to put that on a
Oh yeah,
track. Even if
yeah.
it's on a track, I would still think like,
Oh
it's
yeah.
something you're going pretty. Those
Yeah,
are
but it was
steep stairs.
I'm assuming on the track it's probably locked in somehow, and
Yeah,
so like
maybe.
I don't think it was just loosely on the track that he could flip over at any moment. Like yeah.
It's the 80s, man. They would probably try anything, save a couple bucks.
That
But
is
then
true.
this is where Jason grabs like the werewolf mask from earlier in the movie. Oh yeah, which we totally wouldn't talk about, but
Oh
that
yeah.
is used in the movie a lot when Paul is telling the story of
Yep.
Jason and Camp Blood, and he has Ted pop out with the
Yep.
werewolf mask to scare everybody. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, it's just a fake story." Which again, I can't believe we skipped that because that is used. I think in like 3 of the movies they use Paul telling that story because it's such a big part of the movie. I think that and Ginny are like 2 things that really set off the franchise. Whoever wrote this
No,
one, like set
absolutely.
off the sequels.
But it also like he was telling the story, but he also had a harpoon gun. Was it a harpoon gun or a spear? Or it was a spear.
No, it was just a spear. It was
Spear.
just an old spear.
Why
Like
did
a
they have a
Native
spear?
American spear.
Why did they have a spear?
Probably
there?
because it's New Jersey and Native Americans are all over
okay.
New Jersey.
Oh, so if you're in Jersey, you should own a spear.
I'm sure a lot of camps do, man. All the camps here are all like Lenape Indians. That's all I learned in 4th and 5th grade growing up. For 2 years, we learned about the Lenape Indians. But how about when Jeff and Sandra again? She sees the masked figure coming. So do you think in her like last dying moment, she thinks, "Oh my God, Ted killed us"? Like you see that mask, are you
Yeah.
really thinking that? Like in what mind are you thinking? Oh, someone else did like. Put
So
that
you're
mask
saying
on
that
and did
she's
that.
holding a grudge in the afterlife? The rest, like,
Oh, well,
because
he's fine. He's still chugging along.
no, but you're saying like so like her last moment was thinking that he did it. So like the rest of her afterlife, she's still angry that he's the one that killed her. Well, that's what she
Yeah,
thinks.
I think so. But what a way to go! Like that happens a few times in the franchise.
Yeah.
Of seeing like the death coming
Yep.
and not being able to alert the other person.
Yep.
That happens in Jason Goes to Hell too. It's just like such a insane.
But I would say that's one of the most iconic. Like that's got to be one of the top 5 deaths in any of the franchise.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, because both of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and so does that count as one kill? 2 birds with 1 stone.
Kills.
Okay, so it's 2 birds with 1 stone.
2 birds with 1 stone. Yeah.
Two
He's
birds
more efficient, right?
So it's 2 birds with 1 spear.
2 birds with 1 spear. Yeah. You probably get 17 birds with 1 spear.
I was gonna say
if they're on a wire.
Okay,
if they're on a wire.
Okay, so if you let's just say you had how many people you think a spear can go through if they're all laying on top of each other?
Oh, you probably could get a lot. 10, 11?
Okay. What if it missed her heart but hit his and she's stuck like that and she's still alive but he's dead and she's got to lay there? Like that's an awful way to die. Because then she's like bleeding out but like he got this dead body that's like stuck to her that she's got to stare at. It's not even like she can turn away. She's staring at his dead body that's right on top of her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just drooling, tongue hanging out. Yeah, well, that would be a way to. But yeah, that is such a cool death in the franchise. But when Vicky, at this point, this is when Vicky comes back, and she's just like, "Oh, where are you?" She's looking for Mark.
Okay.
Mark. She goes upstairs. Yeah.
Okay. So she goes upstairs to look for Mark, who's in a wheelchair.
Oh no, I don't think she's looking for Mark upstairs.
Yeah, she was, because she was Mark. And then why would she go upstairs then?
No, I think they probably asked Jeff and Sandra where Mark went. I would hope she didn't think like
I think she was looking for Mark upstairs because she was looking for Mark all downstairs, and then she went upstairs.
But again, your friends are going up there to do it, right? Like she knocks, she walks in, nothing, right? Nothing's moving, nothing at all. And then we see, obviously, as the audience, we see Jeff like impaled on the wall behind her. And in there, in the bed, she's looking, still gets closer, sees the blood, still is getting closer. And then that's when we see Baghead Jason for the first time pop out, which is so cool.
So how long do you think he was waiting there? Like, yeah, like
not that long, right?
You think he was like giggling? You know, he's got the.
He's like practicing. I'm gonna go like,
or how should I come out? Like, should I? And yeah, he practiced different voices and different like the surprises. And
in our spoof movie, he can accidentally fall asleep.
Well, I was gonna say like
it's wet, it's raining,
and we can see like day 2, and he's still like waiting there because no one came back. Like,
yeah,
like what was the point of like? I wonder like again. I mean, in general, I want to know what goes through Jason's mind in general, but like he kills it, he cleans up the place a little bit. He sticks some like, you know, like art on the wall. He puts the, you know, guy on the wall, and then he's like, he hops into the bed and pulls the cover over him. Like that's just like such a silly thing. Like if you think about it, like, you know. So,
but it's a cool way to reveal him for the first time.
It is, like, but like, why was he assuming someone's going to come up there?
Oh, he knew.
And
he
again,
knew Vicky.
I think it's like playing peekaboo. He's got a child's mind in his. Remember, he's a child, so it's so stupid.
Well, the other thing in all the movies, he's always peeping. He's always hiding behind corners. So he is like.
So how is he? He's got a one-eyed mask that's tied around his neck. Nothing on his mouth hole. Nothing on his nose. So he's got to be hard to breathe in there, and then he's got the sheet over him. So he's got like double sheets.
He's dead already.
Is he dead?
At this point, I would think so. He drowned.
But did he?
I don't know.
We need the backstory. We need a full story of what's going on.
Because he does die. Like he dies and he turns into a zombie.
Well, that's
we see in part 4 he dies, right?
Yeah,
he's
that's
in the
later
morgue.
on.
He goes to a morgue and he somehow leaves a morgue.
He also gets his head. Doesn't he get his head chopped off at one point? Oh, it's Freddy. Freddy gets his head chopped off. Jason versus Freddy. Okay, all right.
Jason does it.
Oh, that's right. Jason, the one thing that would actually stop him maybe if they chopped his head off in any of these movies, and they never do.
Never. They don't think about it.
Okay.
So Ted stays at the bar. That's when you get Ginny and Paul are coming back. So Vicky gets like slashed on the leg, and then Jason gets real close to her, and then fade out. Like we don't see her death either, unless you did. Did you see something?
I don't. No. Yeah. Well, again,
a lot of them.
Was there a lot of deaths in the first one that we saw? Or no? Like I don't think
you
so.
Saw all of them. I feel like they were all.
But I don't think were they that like crazy? Like I don't remember.
Maybe that's why they were trying to be crazy, or they got to the point. Again, I enjoy that. Like sometimes I love a movie that shows like the shadow of the going up. Well, that's even what I mean. The way they die in this movie, that you see Terry go like turn and go
right,
and then we see her body later. It's almost like, oh, that's really.
Well, I like, did they show a lot of deaths in horror movies back then? Like the way they did, you know, later on in the franchise? Like, I don't know. Like, so I think maybe some of it was more about surprise.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Right. We don't even see anything. Like we just see Terry's dead body. Like we don't even see anything that could have happened to her. But like, if she's not, we're going to see the kill, a saw blade in her head, not like a saw blade, but I mean, there's nothing on her. So she was just, I guess, like, neck snapped, like choked out or something.
I'm surprised Jason didn't use the chainsaw. I know it comes out later, but he should have used it.
Yeah, he never uses it.
No, he doesn't.
Except he uses that one thing that shouldn't be a actual lawn tool in part 7.
Oh yeah, oh my gosh.
Bernie Lomax.
Yeah.
Like that's somehow like weed whacker. That's a saw blade.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah. That's his stomach. Bad News Cruise. So now they're back. They're worried because they came back. All the lights are on. They go up into the bedroom. They find the blood. There's no bodies. Power goes out. It's no one's there, dude. But I do love a line that she utters. I think is so cool and so creepy when they're like looking around and it's all dark. She goes, Paul, there's someone in this room. And they do like this master shot. And then you just see Jason again pop out. And him and Paul fight. And Paul gets beat up.
He does. But like, again, the fight wasn't impressive because Jason looked so small. Like he didn't look intimidating, you know, like, and, you know, like what were they thinking? Because there was a lot of blood in that bed. Like, you know, like, and like, they didn't seem concerned like there might have been a murder. They're just like, people are missing. Like, there was no question. Like, she didn't say like, why is there blood here? What happened? Who's like,
oh my God, what is it? Oh my God, what happened to her? Whose blood is this?
At the same time, was the body still on the wall?
No, he moves it. He moves all the bodies.
So wait a second.
Like, Yeah.
So he kills them. He hangs them on the wall, then takes them down.
He does, yeah.
He rearranges the furniture. Just
He does, yeah.
that's okay.
He's just carrying the dead body.
That's he probably passes the same cars on the highway every single time. Oh, that's that guy again carrying another body.
There's that guy carrying that old rug. He's always carrying that same rolled up rug. It's redder and redder each time.
Oh man. Okay.
But but I do love the shot of Baggage Jason in this scene. And dude, when she's going for the window and he shatters it, and there was like so many, she was actually scared of this scene.
Oh really?
Still like filming this. It was frightening because you're getting ready for this like maniac. And the window didn't break the one time when Warrington Gillette was doing it, and he got like really messed up.
Oh
like,
really?
Banging his head on the window.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because in the same scene, you have Warrington Gillette that did this part, and then Steve Dart does another scene within this final because Amy Steele, she hits him and like broke his finger, had to go to the emergency room.
So that the stabbing in the beginning of her face, like, so they had a lot of accidents.
Yeah,
on the set. Wow.
Yeah. But I do love that Jason goes like, she's hiding behind the door and you're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? She's got to look at, she's going to go for the window. She's blocking the door, door, where's the do? And a pitchfork? Like that is freaky. That is a weapon.
Why is there a pitchfork in there?
They are at a camp. I didn't see any hay around, right?
Okay. I mean, I doubt farmers have a pitchfork in their house. They leave it in a barn. Why is there a pitchfork in the house?
You don't think that famous photo of those old people, like with the pitchfork?
Yeah, they're outside of a farm. They're outside the farm.
You think he leaves it outside?
Why would he bring it? Why would he bring it in the house?
That pitchfork inside.
That's like bringing a shovel in your house. Why would you bring a shovel in your house?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like bringing a chainsaw in your house.
I couldn't put it down.
I was saying they do have a chainsaw in the house too. So maybe they don't have a tool shed and everything has to go in the house.
But like ripping that pitchfork right through the door, dude. That was oh my God.
But see, like this is like where it becomes like Ghostface because he's like sloppy. Like he's like sloppy with the and he misses a lot. Like I mean, like later in the movies, he doesn't miss too often. And here
but it's always the final girl that gets away somehow. There's always kicking. There's always things that he's kind of sloppy at the end. He's like he's fatigued. Too much killing.
That is true.
He's out of practice.
I think if he stopped rearranging the dead bodies, he would have more energy. I mean, so I think that's part of the problem.
Just put him in a closet, just like when you have company come over. One closet.
Roll them under the bed. They wouldn't check under the bed. Just like roll them under the bed.
Yep. So now and she even kicks him in the groin.
Yeah.
She kicks him in the nuts in the shot, and he feels it, so he's gonna be alive, right?
Yeah, but I don't think he would if that happened later in the movies, I don't think he would flinch.
No, Kane wouldn't. Yeah, Kane wouldn't flinch because
but this guy, like I said, he acted almost too human. And again, maybe he is human at this point, but like he acted very human in this movie.
Oh, he did, dude. And he hides again, dude. Right after this, he hides again and pops out. And that's for the famous image of him with the pitchfork, like holding it across like it's like a rifle. Such a cool, it's a cool shot.
Well, I think it goes back to, we say all the time that he's a child and that's part of it. Like, he's been probably scared his entire life living in the woods, and anything that's walked by, he probably is always hiding. So he probably feels safest when he's hiding.
Yeah. So here's the $1 million question, sir. When she's under the bed and she sees a rat.
Oh my gosh.
And then Jason leaves the room and there's urine that comes out from under the bed. Whose urine is that?
You think it's the rats?
It's
her. Not. It's her urine.
That's insane.
That's a lot of urine. First of all,
it was a lot.
I thought Jason was playing the old "I'm going to shut the door and pretend I'm leaving."
Oh, and that's Jason did do that.
I said I
would fit in to be like a 9-year-old. Yeah,
as I'm saying, and I thought that's literally what he was doing. Like he wanted her to come out from underneath the bed by doing the old fakearoo.
The whole cable guy that everybody does. I still do that. I did that with my son last night. I said, okay, I'm leaving. And I did like the steps to make it sound like I was getting farther away and lower my voice.
Yeah, but he didn't slam the door in that one. I'm talking about like when you pretend like the parents walk in a kid's room and like, are you sleeping? and they're pretending to sleep, and then you stay in there, you shut the door, and they, they'll sit up,
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
oh, yeah,
Like, so, like, that's what I thought Jason was doing. Like, he was still in the room, shutting it so she would roll out from under the bed.
So she comes out and says, "Oh my God, I can't believe I pissed myself."
That's embarrassing.
Or
I didn't know anyone was here.
Or the rat. Oh yeah, the rat
Wait,
saw
so
that.
wait,
The rat was probably like,
you really thought the rat pissed?
no, I didn't. But it
So
was
whose
funny.
pee do you think it was?
No, it was hers. But just
Well, you
where
asked
the rat
me.
was and where she was, maybe you had a different opinion on it. Maybe you thought that was rat pee.
What other possibility could that be of the urine?
I've never seen a rat pee, but they're disgusting. So
that much pee? That was a lot of pee. That was a bucket.
Insane.
That was a bucket worth.
It was way too much, because even if you were scared, or when you're like holding a pee and you laugh and a little bit comes out.
Okay, first of all, she's wearing clothes also. So if she peed, it would be absorbed by the clothes. It wouldn't make a puddle like that. I think it would it literally looked like a bucket got knocked over and the pee just flew spread out from the buckets falling. That was a ridiculous amount. Okay.
That was insane. But Jason does trick her. What do you mean? He does do that. He stands on a chair.
Oh, so he wasn't.
He does.
I was right.
Pretends to leave the room. Yeah.
Okay.
He stands on a chair.
That's
way
right.
too intelligent for him. Like, really, if you think about the rest of the movies, he's just like a carnage. He'd be like, stabbing through the bed, not hiding on a chair, and then it breaks. He tries to move too quick.
That was squeamish. Like, that was Ghostface. Yeah. Like, he literally was sloppy. That's what I mean. Like, that's why I said I thought he stayed in there, and I forgot he stayed in there. I knew, like, that's what I saw. Listen, he cut the power out. He did a lot of creative things to get his victims, whatever. And yeah, I mean, that's why, like, I feel like this is the worst Jason, only because he's not true to form, right? It's like he's just literally a serial killer. Like, he's like, that would be, stalking anybody and doing these little tricks.
It is great the way he evolved, if you really think about it. Like, 100%. Even 3, 4, and
he grew about 5 feet.
He did, yeah. So, Jason's he's scared of chainsaws, but at this point, like,
wouldn't you be?
Well, he's really. You don't think it doesn't seem like he's scared of other things.
He's scared of fire. Wasn't he scared of one of the movies of fire?
No, that's Frankenstein.
No, that's. Well, Freddy Krueger doesn't like fire either because he was burnt.
He doesn't like fire because he was burned, right?
There was no movie, Jason.
Wouldn't you be over fire at that point? If you got burned alive, wouldn't you just be like, they can't burn me alive, or like, they can't do it worse than I've already had. But I do. One thing my wife said was like, why doesn't she just cut his arms off and his legs when he was like on the ground, knocked out?
Again, cut his head off. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that you have to do. Forget his cutting, because you know what? You cut his arms off, he's still going to find a way to kick you or whatever.
He'll still run.
Yeah, it's still run. It's like the knight in Holy Grail.
Yeah.
You remember the knife fight?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, yep. So I mean, but I think to me it's like the one obvious thing is cut the head off, and that's it. And they never think about doing it.
Yeah. Oh my God. But again, Ginny, when she goes to that shed looking for help, that's when we see all the dead bodies on the ground. But the fact that, could you imagine thinking of that and that working? Like, oh, I'm going to put on this sweater, his dead mom's sweater.
Before that, you're being chased by a maniac who's wearing a potato sack in the head. You see this decrepit, falling down shed. You're smart enough with the sweater on to pretend to be the mom, but you're not smart enough to say, hey, maybe Jason lives here. Like, I mean, like, the fact that she was like, oh, please help me. Like, this place looks like I don't want any help from anybody in there. If there was someone in there, they're probably trying to kill me also. they're probably trying to cook me. Like, they're probably like cannibals that live in there. Like, it's like, it was such a ridiculous place to look for help. And I thought at one point that she was going to put the mom's skull, like, hair on. Because she at the point she was messing her hair, and I thought she was going to lay it on her somehow.
Yeah, but that was wild, dude. The fact that the fact that it works, like, that works. Like, he sees the mom, and they actually brought Betsy Palmer back.
Yeah.
She's really cool when you watch the documentaries, like her talking about the role. She's definitely a lot older at that point, and she was like a big time Hollywood actress. Like, throughout her career, for her to like be in that movie, that was like kind of a big deal. But the fact that she came back and did like the lines, and it's like,
right.
Come here, Jason. And it was like right where Ginny's head was. It was a very cool ending.
No, it was cool, and what made it even cooler is the fact that Jason realized when she moved her head that he saw the mom's head there, and it clicked in his head like that she's like messing with me. So yeah,
he blocks it just in time, like an old wrestling fight.
But he does
machete blocked.
But she does the same machete move as if in the first movie, slow motion machete move.
Mm-hmm. Didn't work. She's not ready. She's got to like train for that. Not you train for this, like going to the camp, because again, it was just the mom before. But I don't know. At this point, I would just be running. Like even
yeah, but this Jason runs also.
No, I know, but I couldn't stop. I could not stop. If somebody was chasing me, I couldn't stop until I couldn't breathe.
Even when she was running, she was hiding behind a log. Like 100%. Like I think your adrenaline would go that much. If you're being chased by someone, you'd be surprised at how much further you can run than like you normally would. And like, yeah, agreed. I would keep running until I'm in an open area where maybe I'll find, someone can help me. They never run that long at all. It's usually they running and then they hide behind a tree. And they give them enough time for the whoever's chasing them to catch up.
Yeah. Oh my God, man. But yeah, Paul shows up.
How does he show
Jason
up?
One more time.
She ran in the middle of the woods. Paul's knocked out. She ran in the middle of the woods and he just happens to find the direction. So you're at a house where there's woods all around you. He picked the exact direction that she went in to find the shed, which no one saw the shed the entire movie.
Yeah.
But somehow he was there. Okay.
Yeah, I know. And he gets, again, quick work of him pretty quick. Like, I know the first time he thought he was dead, and then this time it's like, meh.
He's useless. He really is.
Ginny's ready. She does the machete to Jason's shoulder. And when she takes off the bag, a face only a mother can love.
It's one of the few times we see his face.
Yeah, and Warrington talked about like how involved the makeup was. Like, you know, think makeup back in the day always looked great. It just probably wasn't the speed to do it, the process of like. So I think he said like 11 hours he had to sit in there, which
that's
is
insane.
Crazy.
That's insane because that's half your day right there, right? Just sitting there, and then
that's half of a day.
Yeah, right. I mean, half your day, and then you had to act after that. Yeah. I mean, so but what I was expecting when she took the mask off, I was expecting to see like one eye. Because that's why he had one eye in the sack. So I was like, all right, that would make sense. But no. All right.
And then what happens? Paul somehow is able to carry her out. At this point, like, Paul is still like, he has ass kicked twice and he has the energy to get up and carry someone. And she's bleeding pretty good.
He shouldn't have made it to the end because he was useless. You know what? He should have died. Well, first of all, he should have died, and the guy at the bar should have came out and saved her. That would have been the return.
He should have played to die. Like, that would have been really wild. Like, like the whole, like, the killer always comes back. You have to kill him twice. If we would have thought, I don't know if that was always a thing in movies before this, or it started with, like, the serial killers with, like, Michael Myers and Jason and Freddy. Like, they're never dead that first time. It would have been really good if she is, like, thinks he's dead when she was running, and Ted comes back from the bar and was like, oh, yeah, it's so great to see you. Oh, man, I got that girl's number. And then, like, something happens.
I got a better one. What if Ted came back through the mask on, pretending to be like, and she kills him, thinking it's Jason?
That could have been good.
See? That would have been good.
Okay. But yeah.
Okay.
That would be good. If Sandra survived somehow, or she's buried alive and says, oh, it was a man in the werewolf mask. Then,
yeah.
And he gets killed. But so now they get them. Paul carries back to the cabin. He lays her down on the bed. Paul goes to the door. And Ginny's sitting there crazy with a pitchfork. And guess who comes to the door? Muffin. Or I wrote, maybe Muffin is the true serial killer because we haven't really seen them on
the same room together. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Okay. Look, the dog's been missing for a couple of days in the woods and somehow comes back, totally fine. Like,
it's been on like one. It's been a day.
It's only one day.
The movie takes place over 2 days at the most. Muffin goes missing the day before. It's probably that day.
It was like the day after. No, it was like the day after they were there, I think, right? Because it was probably the second day the Muffin went missing.
Yeah, but still not that long. But
Okay.
Muffin's no Gordon, right? Gordon jumps out of a window
Yeah. Yeah.
to survive.
Yeah.
Muffin just looked at Jason and just said, "Hey," but
And
we don't
didn't
know what
even
happens. Was that the dead dog?
didn't even try to like even protect his like the people. Muffin.
Yeah,
Okay.
doesn't care. But
No.
the fact that we see, oh, come here, Muffin, and then we see that hideous Jason fly through the window, pull her out, and then we just cut to it gets white. She wakes up and it says, "Where's Paul? Where's Paul?"
Okay. Again, did that really happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did happen, or we don't know.
I tell you, the director said that really happened in his
So
vision. That really happened. So I don't know why he did a dream sequence or what happened to Paul, but it's funny on one of the DVDs because sometimes with these movies, even though it is Paramount, so I'm sure I don't know how this could have happened by mistake, but they had like a behind the scenes of a cut scene of Paul with like bandages on his head, and it was not. They said it was just for some behind the scene photo that he was goofing, but it ended up like on in the DVD, like in the booklet, and it's like, was that something that was real?
Right.
And he did survive, but he was in the ambulance next to him. But there's nothing. But the one big thing, this happens again. Maybe in the first one, Jason didn't have his own lair, or Shay Jason. They're looking in the woods, right? Or you're telling me Jason lives and he said, oh, man, I gotta take that shed down. I gotta grab all those bodies and move them.
I was gonna say, yeah. No, it's where does he live the rest of the series?
He doesn't live anywhere. They don't accept. This movie is the only one that establishes that he lives somewhere. The other ones, he just comes back.
So how does the third one start?
I think he's just there because he doesn't have to be brought back to life in any of the other ones.
Okay.
Third one, I think he's there. Fourth one, he's in the morgue.
Wait,
so
is
he's
the third one when they
so
hang
he's
him
in between places?
Is the third one they hang him in the farm? No.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man. So yeah. So that's the end. That's Friday the 13th, part 2. Jamie, I know you recommend somebody to watch this movie because of what it is, but what is, because it's funny. One day I would love to go back to all the ones that we did of this. And at the end, I don't know when we really started, like, hey, what'd you think of the sequel, and have different questions. But what would be your 4 that you would watch? Obviously, Friday the 13th is like, if you could watch 4 right now, what are your choices?
The first one, the second one, the fourth one, and Jason Lives.
Wow. Okay. So first, second, fourth, sixth.
6. I always forget the number of Jason Lives. Yeah. So I think those are
those are definitely, again, I think of these movies, again, even the ones that we watched that were bad, I think the only one that I would never be like, is Jason Goes to Hell, because to me it's like we talked about, not a Jason movie. It's a body switching movie.
Yeah, but neither is the ambulance one. Even 5 is not.
Yeah, but again, that one's fun, and it was so cool last year. We had to experience with two
of
our resident sequel lovers, Nick Sperdone and Chris Egan. It was cool to see 5, 6, and 7. See any of them, but it just changed the way I look at that movie. Because it is obviously so ridiculous with the ambulance driver.
Yeah,
but there are some cool scenes to it. The enchilada.
Yes, but seeing the acting of the ambulance driver throughout the whole movie, watching it again, it's so obvious that he's so, so. But yeah, I would say 1, 2, 4, and 6.
Yeah, I would have to go, if I had to go into an order of the way I would watch it, and like mix in a little bit of like best. It's got to be Final Chapter, Jason Lives, this one, and then my last one, my guilty pleasure, Jason Takes Manhattan.
Oh,
gotta
over the first one, because I think the first one was.
I do like the first one, but again, I'm a sequel. Yeah,
I know, but I think 4 is by far the best one. 4 was.
I think it's the best one.
100%.
The characters having like a young kid, like the Corey Feldman.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of elements in that. And 6 was just so cool because it reinvented the franchise. It was like, you had like rock music, you had the James Bond intro. There's just so many cool things that was like, oh, this is bad. And 7 is still fun too, because that one's so badass. How great Kane Hodder is, cool characters. Again, what are you gonna do? You're on the 7th film. How are you gonna change it? Introduce Tina as this telekinetic character. And so again, you had to jump the shark because you get to this point, like, can we really do the same thing again? They probably
change it? Yeah.
they could have done the same formula. Like, I would watch that every year now. If there's a new one every year, give me a serial killer, give me a new cast of characters. You don't even have to have the returning person. It's just that cool formula
Yeah.
of, oh, let's learn about these people, dead. Learn
Yeah,
about
yeah.
these people, their relationship, dead.
Yeah, yeah. No, agreed.
But yeah, I'm so excited to be able tonight after I'm done with this, I'll be watching Jason Takes Manhattan because it's a tradition. I got to watch it every year. And next week, oh my god, to talk about obviously a franchise that means so much to me. And based on my age, I was born in '86. First time I saw Friday the 13th was on USA Up All Night. So to be able to have talk to Ron Shear was such an honor because it was so cool. It'd be like if I talked to Joe Bob. I would tell like how important they were to me watching movies. Like it was so cool to have these curated sort of films that were like, hey, let's pick them. And then, hey, they might not be the best. We're gonna have so much fun doing these skits, talk about the movies in between. And Rhonda was so cool hearing about her journey, the fact that she was like in politics. Obviously, you could tell she was a model. She still is. Oh man, and she knows it too. She was talking about doing stand-up comedy in the '80s. Some amazing stories about opening up for some great acts. Great Jay Leno story from back then, and then later in her life when she started this bra empire of lingerie wear that she's crushing it with. And then recently, she's getting back into, I think, coming out in a couple weeks is her first reboot of USA Up All Night Online. She has a
Wow.
studio that she bought, so that's gonna be real cool because she has rights to some movies that she talked to. And then she's going to do some independent films, so like newer films to be able to get those out there, and it'd be really cool. And she does have an acting career. She's in a lot of stuff over the years. Spaceballs, which is so cool. We're recording this on the day that Spaceballs 2 was announced to come out in 2027. She was on Married with Children. Just a lot of cool
She
things.
was everywhere.
But we're gonna, yeah, but we're gonna cover Frogtown 2 because we're going to cover for Denise Duff and our buddy Nick. He's got to, he wanted to do this movie, Friday the 13th Part 2. We said, too good for you. Frogtown 2, right up your alley. And yeah, so Rhonda was cool, man. In fact, just the USA Up All Night's connection. She remembered Vanessa Angel from all the cross promotions, her WWF, like Marcus. It was great, man. It was a very cool experience, doing this for now. We've been over 6 years to talk to somebody that's really fueled my beginnings. It was rad. So, yeah. So happy Friday the 13th. And don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night. All right.